Hi there guys, welcome to my channel. So today in this video we are going to be talking about the new Breath of the Wild Tears of the Kingdom coming out in next year in May. I for one am very excited to see and play this game. I've been waiting for such a long time. If you don't know, I'm a huge fan of The Legend of Zelda, if it isn't obvious already. So when I saw this trailer drop, I was going to react to it, but I just couldn't wait because I was too excited. But there are some things about the trailer that I want to make sure we talked about and noticed. So at the end of the trailer and throughout the game of the play of the trailer that you see that parts of the village of Hyrule and the world of Hyrule is going up into the sky, which is pretty cool. Because if you don't know this, Breath of the Wild was told to be the last game of the timeline of The Legend of Zelda. That doesn't mean that it's the last game of all the Legend of Zeldas, but it does mean that is the end of the timeline. For those of you who don't really know the timeline of Legend of Zelda, there's 3 different paths the timeline kind of breaks down into. So basically the timeline starts from Skyward Sword, which is the first Zelda game of any timeline. And then it breaks down into 2 different categories actually. It's the hero defeated and the hero triumphant. Now if the hero is defeated, this is the decline of the hero and the, everything that happens to Link, what happens if Link dies. There's a lot of things are going to happen to Hyrule if Link died. And then it breaks down from the hero being triumphant. There's 2 other paths it could take. The Twilight Realm and the Legacy of the Hero. So that basically is just the legend of the hero broken down into this. And then the Hero of the Winds in a New World. So that means after Hyrule was saved and Link won, basically it just shows what happens to Hyrule afterwards, after many years. Hyrule's kind of forgotten in this because the first game's Wind Waker, Hyrule is buried under the ocean. We don't know what really happened to it. In the Twilight Realm and Legacy of the Hero, that is where Majora's Mask comes into play and Twilight Princess, followed by the Four Swords Adventure. And the Decline of the Hero is A Link to the Past, the Oracle of Ages, Link's Awakening, The Legend of Zelda, and The Adventure of Link. And basically in all those games, Ganon is resurrected multiple times, and most of those are actual sequels to the game. But Ocarina of Time is the end to the pivot point of them separating to their own things. So Breath of the Wild is at the very end because technically Link is defeated in Breath of the Wild, but he is also triumphant at the same time. It's also kind of a new Hyrule, and it is the legacy of a hero as we see throughout the gameplay where you're learning about 10,000 years ago about the calamity of Ganon, and technically he is triumphant in the end of the game. So I kind of like how Breath of the Wild is the end of the timeline. And now it is also building up to the point of Skyward Sword is the beginning of the timeline, and the Hyrule castles are being lifted up to the sky. There's different islands being lifted up to the sky, so it's all going to go back up to the sky. Now here's my theory, or kind of a question, and you guys can give me your thoughts in the comments below. Do you guys think that Breath of the Wild is going to be is it going to start a time loop within the Legend of Zelda history, of course? Because if Breath of the Wild is the ending, is it going to restart because Hyrule is being lifted up to the sky again? So is it going to become New Skyward, and is it just being restarted? That is kind of a theory of mine. I'm not really sure how I feel about it just because of where it takes place and all, but let me know what you guys think about it in the comments below. So yes, Breath of the Wild is kind of the end of the timeline, so I like how it's started in the sky and it's probably going to finish in the sky. It's going to be really interesting. The next thing I want to talk about is Link's new arm. So we don't really see the Sheikah Slate in the new trailer. And this is my theory. Zelda, we see her fall. This is the first show we got to see of Breath of the Wild 2. She falls into a pit. I assume that she has the Sheikah Slate with her again because she was obsessed with that thing. So I'm assuming she has it with her. So I feel in the game, you're going to be separated from Zelda and she'll have the Sheikah Slate. But I also see that Link is getting his arm fixed from the red goo that we see that gets on him. I say red goo. I don't know if it's goo. The red calamity-ish stuff that gets on him in the first trailer that we see. So my theory is Paya or Impa or Robbie, one of those guys, they give Link the arm to help save his arm and stuff, but also they give him the powers that the Sheikah Slate once had, because we do see that he uses some similar powers in some of the trailers of the gameplay that he does, he can stop the bowlers and stuff, and it would be really cool to see if that could happen or not. He kind of looks like Bucky from the Avengers movies, Marvel, but I'm not a huge fan of Marvel, so we're not going to be talking about Marvel. We're talking about Legend of Zelda right now. But yeah, So, those are my theories and thoughts about the new trailer to come. Let me know what you guys think. If you guys saw anything you want to share, just throw them in the comments below. And that's all I have to say. Keep it crispy. May the force be with you. And stay lively.